Hi, this is for Philip.
Hello, Philip. It's Ron Hine from Coast Mountain Earth Sciences here. I'm just going over with Wayne the report findings as well. You're going to be getting an electronic copy this afternoon along with the photographs that were taken through today. So just as a quick recap, the sewage system is located in the yard, very much as per the diagram from the Health Authority records. The records show that it's for a 3-bedroom, single-family dwelling, and those records are contained in your binder, which is in section 2. And it's highlighted here that it's for the mobile home and showing it's for a 3-bedroom. And throughout, there is some more information concerning this system as per the records with the Health Authority. One item that was included, which is at the back, and just bear with me for a second as I thumb my way through, is a little note by the health officer that says, as a reminder, there is an effluent filter in the septic tank which will require cleaning. It's a very vague statement, but it just does say that there is this thing and it needs to be cleaned. So that's a note by the health officer, and that'll come up through our discussion as we kind of come to what is the performance of the sewage system. Also in behind there is the other records regarding the main house septic system's permit as well. And I've separated so that we're only going to focus today on the mobile home's sewage system. The paperwork from Health says that it was designed for a 3-bedroom home, and the things I'm finding through the inspection today confirm that the size is appropriate for a 3-bedroom home. That would be up to 4 occupants on a daily basis. So it's a reasonably good size. If you're going to have more than that number of occupants living in a home on a steady basis, it will start to have more effect or wear on the septic system over time. Occasional higher usage, while not ideal, shouldn't be problematic. The only thing that might require more frequent cleaning is this filter, which I'll explain through the process. In your binder, in section 1, is the report itself. And the bulk of the report is just describing in detail things that were found. Some of the highlights are, in the septic tank, the fluid level is above the normal operating level. And it's enough above that it's actually causing a backup of wastewater between the septic tank and the house. So essentially the main sewer pipe from the home to the tank is unable to freely allow the sewage to exit and drain into the tank. And that can, at times, result in a clog or a restriction, potentially even causing a backup in the home. So that's why we need to make sure that the flows can freely travel from the home to the tank. Now the reason for that backup is because inside the septic tank, at the outlet, is a filter, a little plastic screened filter. And as the health officer mentioned, it does need to be cleaned from time to time. Now, frequency, typically when there's 2 or 3 people living in the house, is about every 9 to 12 months. If you don't do it that often, the filter will do its job, it will clog, and in so doing the fluid levels will back up inside the septic tank. There is plenty of evidence to show that the fluid level has even reached higher levels than we're seeing today, and that's noted by the stain marks inside the septic tank and the heave marks in the sewage found in the tank. It actually was trying to escape from under the access lids at the top of the tank. And that'd be, if you're looking for centimeters, that's probably about 25, almost 30 centimeters above the normal operating level. Today what we're seeing is something at about 10 centimeters above the normal level. So it was significant. Now whether a homeowner would be aware of it and realize it could be a problem, some do and some don't. The sound in the house might be a toilet being flushed that is grumpy and slow and really not draining properly. Sometimes sinks start to gurgle. If people are a little bit familiar with septic systems, they usually will think that that is an indicator of a problem with the septic system and they would go examine it, check it out. They may not be even aware of it. So there's fluctuating fluid levels, even currently, and that would affect the performance of the septic tank to settle out the solids as it should. The septic tank is more a garbage can, shall we say. It's a vessel. And as the wastewater comes into it, its only purpose is to allow the solids to settle out, and then from there allow only liquids to head out to the septic field. In the septic field, the liquids are to travel down whatever number of pipes are in the field, evenly through each of the pipes, and able to go down the entire run of each pipe. That would be the normal performance. Because the filter wasn't cleaned on a regular basis, solids, or sewage, has washed out of the septic tank over time, and it's been found now in the next component of the system, which is a distribution box. In this box, again, photos will be coming to you this afternoon to show you these things, but the distribution box is a small concrete box in which there is a pipe from the septic tank leading in, and then a series of pipes, in this case 3, leading out to the field. Inside the box is an accumulation of the sewage sludge that's washed out of the tank, and the way it's accumulated has created a favored approach to one of the pipes doing the work, and the other two really not so much. As we're putting a pipe camera down each of the 3 pipes leading out of the distribution box, we can see that there is accumulations of this sludge in the pipes shortly after the box itself. These accumulations range from about 1/3 of the pipe up to almost 2/3 or so of the inside diameter. So it's a bit of a restriction. And that's why when the flows are heading out, they're pooling inside the box rather than freely draining out. And the one that has the least amount of an obstruction is the favored child today. So unlike expected performance that they all share the load, right now we have one doing the bulk of the work, and because of that we call that condition a performance malfunction. It's like a vehicle running on only 1 or 2 of the cylinders and the others are kind of not firing. The same with the condition in the septic tank, with the fluid level being above the normal level. That also is considered a performance malfunction. If the sewage was to back up into the house, we would call that actually a health hazard. So we're seeing something not quite working the way it's supposed to. When we're looking down inside the pipes themselves, we want to see how much of effect it is and where things are settling out. The images that we're getting with a pipe camera can really give us a typical condition where the sludge has become accumulated mostly soon after the distribution box and decreasing the further away from the box. That's very typical. The sludge is heavy, unlike liquids. And when it does that, the solids want to drift out soon after leaving a box because it's losing the liquid to act as a means of carrying the material down. So if this was a properly operating sewage system, I could put the pipe camera in and travel from front to back and see a fairly clean pipe. I can see the liquids towards the bottom and I can watch them drift out of the holes in the pipe. Sometimes we get little minor accumulations inside the pipe, and it's not a huge impact, but it's ready for the oil change kind of effect. In this case, we have the pipe which has a lot more solids at the beginning, creating that restriction. And because of the uneven flow, Ministry of Health's term that says that would be a performance malfunction would apply in this case. In the process, we have to decide then, is this something that is so significant that it would require replacement of the septic system, or are we still talking about the minor maintenance? Your vehicle doesn't run well. Do you need a new vehicle? Or do you need to take it to a mechanic? In this case, it's a mechanic. And those kinds of people we call maintenance providers. Under the provincial regulations, they describe that there's certain people that are legally allowed to do maintenance on a sewage system. And these people, that we refer to as maintenance providers, are found at the very back of your manual, and they're highlighted. And these are several that are in the immediate area who are very experienced and equipped to do that kind of work. In the scheme of things, it is still a very minor maintenance. We're good?
Yes.
Okay. Part two. So, in terms of maintenance, it is a very minor task, easily done, by having the maintenance person come out. And the two things that they would do is focus first on the pumping out of the septic tank. That removes the debris inside and allows the cleaning of the filter that's clogged. Second, they would begin cleaning the distribution box and all pipes leading to and from the box. Once the cleaning is done, they would touch up any kind of surfaces inside the distribution box that might show wear. There's nothing evident right now, but just in case, after the cleaning is done, there's a little deterioration in a corner or two of the box, they can touch it up with some grout and bring it back to proper operation. That's not a problem. An improvement to all of this is to take the access lid over top of the septic tank's outlet, which currently is buried, and actually put a riser that brings the lid to the surface. And that would allow quick and easy access to the filter for regular maintenance. As long as it's buried like this, people tend to forget these things. And that's why bringing it to the surface would be an improvement. It wasn't a requirement at the time the system was installed. Today on new systems, it would be. So that's why I can only say that it's an improvement. At the same time, the maintenance guy can attach to the filter a handle that extends up to just below the lid, making it much easier for somebody to grab, pull out, clean, and put the filter back in. Simplicity is key. So all those tasks are very simply arranged through a maintenance provider. There's a few in the area. I can always provide more if you need. But once the work is done, that should bring your system around to the proper operation. Now, time that it would take to do the work, probably a maintenance person would be between a half and 2/3 of a day. And they usually take anywhere from 3 to 6 days to kind of book. They tend to be a little bit busy at times. Not a problem if they also are wondering what kind of things to do, that they can give me a call if you wish, and I can explain the scope of the work to make sure they focus on those things. Beyond that, the system should be absolutely fine for what you want to do. The soil conditions here are exceptionally good, very deep sand. It's in an area that's just as ideal as we can expect, and for the age of the system, it's still very, very new. So with regular maintenance, you should be good for many years. If you have any questions, though, through the living here and maybe change of usage in this particular mobile, give me a call, by all means. I'll walk you through and see if there's anything that stands out as a concern or not. And sometimes it's just adjusting the frequency of maintenance, which, in terms of this particular system, you're going to find in section 3 of your book. Just a recommended maintenance and monitoring frequency. And what it'll spell out is that for each component, and if my fingers will work properly, I will start with the septic tank. It'll mention probably every 4 to 5 years would be a good frequency for you. The soonest for the pumping out should be pretty much now, and in conjunction with the cleaning or restoration work of the septic field. Something the health officer didn't quite cover, but is covered here, is this wonderful little filter, and it's in the outlet of the septic tank, and it's something that about every 9 to 12 months would be ideal. Again, it's in rather desperate need of cleaning at this point. The distribution box, it would be something that would be nice to check every 1 to 2 years. It is buried as well. And while if there's a choice between somebody maybe paying to put a an extension or a riser on any component, the septic tank is the first choice because of the filter. If you would like to also put a riser or an extension on the distribution box to bring its lid to the surface, it is an option. It can be good for ongoing monitoring, but if you don't wish to spend that extra money at this point, focus on the septic tank and the lid over the outlet. As far as the field, made a little note that it's one that shows a trench with a plastic pipe in it. It's not an older style with clay tiles or something more exotic with chambers. It's a typical gravity system. They're very durable. They can have lots of life if maintained. The oldest ones we've seen had over 70 years of operation. When people haven't maintained it and overused it, we've seen it down to about 25 years of a lifespan. So nothing to suggest at this point severe damage to the system. It's just a little maintenance got behind, and it wasn't prolonged, and it wasn't under a heavy usage that we're seeing. In section 4 of your manual is 30 pages on use and care, and there's all kinds of information that will give you clues as to how to extend the lifespan and maximize it. You don't need septic additives, you don't need special toilet paper. Basic, we'll call it common sense, packaged up to make it easy to follow. And again, at the very back is section 5, the terminology section, so that you can see when we could use the operating in a normal manner as required by its design and things like that. Once the maintenance person has completed their work, finished the cleaning, any kind of tweaks and adjustments, they are able to provide you, and should provide you, a follow-up report. And that's what you would like to then add to this binder right after my report to show that there was an issue found and that it's now resolved. That way, when you sell the place in the future, you can always demonstrate that things have been checked, maintained, brought back into proper operation, and just a record for your future. And again, at the very, very back is where you're going to find the maintenance providers who can do that work to bring it back on track. So there you be. Hopefully that's of help. And again, if you've got any questions, by all means contact me and I'll help you through it.
Okay, thanks a lot, Ron.
You're most welcome.